Porter Robinson, an influential person in the synth pop scene at the minute, especially with online communities, somewhat feeling a little parasocial maybe, which these days is quite common anyway. He's kind of captivated audiences with his emotional depth and lyrics. I get the impression through interviews and things he kind of feels responsible for how his fans feel, which to me actually feels like a bit of a heavy concept.
Icy Snap.
His album Nurture, for example, released in 2021, actually being my first introduction to his music. An album that's deeply rooted in themes of self-discovery and healing, not just for himself, but for others as well. Nurture being characterized by this more organic sound, incorporating live instruments, his vocals, that kind of thing. The whole album itself being quite vulnerable, hoping for some kind of revelation maybe. This album actually garnered quite a lot of attention. And it's when people start saying, you know, this album helped me through this album saved my life, etc, etc, the burden of responsibility kind of feels a bit heavy. And because of this, we have the album Smile, which touches on those topics, kind of like having to put on a front. The lyrics in Knock Yourself Out, the first song on the album even, crying at the airport, sorry can I get another pic, telling me a sad story, another reason not to quit. Like, I'm kind of interpreting this as he's struggling a bit with this fame and the sort of burden of everyone's relying on him. It's important to put on that smile for others. And not only sort of this, but the album actually touches on a lot of serious subjects. But this review isn't all about how we feel, it's about the music too. So, the album as a whole. It's synthy, it's poppy, it's guitar-y. Look, I'm actually a bit torn musically with this album. There are some parts that I really, really like, and then there's some that I'm like, I'm not too convinced. The whole album itself feeling kind of nostalgic of that early noughties synth pop, almost a bit synth pop punky. Even the first song sounding like Air Traffic by Owl City, except with a little bit more soul. The music I actually do like, but it does feel a little bit flat and sometimes a bit uninteresting every now and then. Percussion, for example, or those shiny high-pitched synths that come in every so often. And in some places there's this bit crusher that goes on, but I do kind of like that. When the song starts to get more energetic, there it is, but I actually think it emphasizes the emotion more, or at least that's how it sounds to me. And you hear this on songs like Russian Roulette, this sort of airy, upbeat song about suicide, or the song Cheerleader, this really sort of energetic, melodically catchy song that has this really nice lead synth that cuts through actually. Other than that though, the music production sounds really clean compared to his previous albums. The drums sound really crisp and tight, really nice use of guitars coming through, and you hear this on songs like Mona Lisa and Year of the Cup. Year of the Cup actually having this acoustic feel to it and this interesting sort of Lil Wayne interview sample. I quite like it, but it's not like my favourite on the album. I think this is one of those songs that are kind of like okay, and there are some songs that really aren't as hard hitting as others, like Kitsune, Maison Freestyle, using sounds similar to other songs. And I also think the vocal performance in this song wasn't as strong as many of the other songs on the album. The song actually felt like a bit of a come down when you get to it in the middle of the album. Luckily that come down is softened by the song Easier to Love You, which is a nice slow song. And this time the vocals really lifting the song, especially with that harmony. Actually, the vocals in most of the album are really good. They don't feel as processed as I had imagined, which I don't actually mind, and having that sort of emo twang helps a bit, and I actually think he's done a really good job with them for the most part. And the last minute of that song actually having a bit of a Britpop feel, really showing emotion through just the synth. And you know what, saying that, there are lots of songs where the last minute or so really push that boundary, and they really make me want to like listen to the end, just in case there's this whole other like thing happening. I kind of like those little surprises. Leading the album off with There Is No Happiness. Maybe there isn't. In this song though, I really enjoyed the percussive rhythm, these lovely sort of stuttery background vocals. From Here to Everything to Me, another slow song, which has this really nice ambience to it, and I think a really strong song to end the album on. The thing about this album is it's lyrically heavy in terms of subject matter. There's kind of a lot to dissect. Thematically, compared to other albums, in particular Nurture, having that more organic feel to it, this feels slightly more robotic, perhaps suggesting this like movement into the mainstream, having to please the fans and all these things, kind of feeling like being forced to do it, you know? Even though this is a bit of a drastic thought, I think it's done really well. The whole album having a really good production, loads of songs feeling catchy, a bit of an emotional roller coaster, yes, but I think he words it really well that sort of anyone can kind of understand. To me, it wasn't perfect, and I thought there were certain elements that could have been done differently maybe, but all in all, I really enjoyed it. Even though I'm not in the Robinson clique, I think I would give this album an 8 out of 10. Thank you so much for watching. Did you enjoy it? Let me know below. If so, let me know. Feel free to comment, like, subscribe, whatever, and hopefully catch you on the next one. Goodbye.